Our next honoree is Aaron Price, class of 1998. And his former coach, Jeff Baer, is going to come up and help us induct Aaron. Aaron is the true definition of scholar athlete and displayed great versatility by competing in both indoor and outdoor track as well as cross-country events. He was named All-Conference 11 times during his 4-year career, 2 times for cross-country, 5 times for outdoor track, and 4 times for indoor track. Aaron is ranked in the top 10 in the mile, the indoor 3,000 and 5,000 meter events, as well as the 1,500 and 3,000 meter outdoor events. Equally impressive, Aaron's hard work in the classroom stood out. He took home the NEC Scholar Athlete Award in both his junior and senior seasons, and he earned the prestigious Monsignor Sheridan Award here in the Mount as a senior. And I mean this with respect, so whoever the bookworm was that beat him here that 1 year, must have been huge bookworm, Aaron. But in recognition of his outstanding career in men's track and field and cross country at Mount St. Mary's, the National Alumni Association is proud to induct Aaron Price into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
First of all, it's a privilege to be here today to talk about Aaron. Brings back a lot of memories, and for an old guy like me, that's important. I was privileged in 1992 to get a phone call from Mike Merritt, who was the head track coach at the time. He and Coach Deegan welcomed me, and I had 5 wonderful years that I will never forget. Meeting, teaching, helping young people through their college years. Similar to some of the stories we've heard, when I arrived, Coach Merritt wanted to change the focus of the track and cross-country program to be more team-oriented. Fortunately, and any coach would tell you, it's always more enjoyable when there are more wins than losses. I got to experience some wonderful years. Aaron was part of 4 consecutive NEC championships on the men's cross-country side, as well as the women. We also had 4 consecutive championships. But that's not how it was when he arrived. We were not very good. I remember Aaron, the first time I saw him run was at the state Maryland track meet. I said to Coach Merritt, there's a piece of the future. And the first time I met Aaron and talked to him, I realized how humble he was. He didn't like talking about himself. He was all about everyone else. And boy, over the next 4 years did he prove that. We changed, he changed the culture of what was going on. And not just on the men's side. Those long van rides from Duke in North Carolina on a Sunday morning, you would always hear him talking as I was driving. Hear him talking to other athletes positively about, we just want to get better. Just keep getting better, keep improving. Few people understand how difficult it is to go from a high school, successful Maryland State champ in high school to a whole different realm of Division I track and field. The progress doesn't happen in every case. That's the reality. And we were fortunate that Aaron continued to improve and inspire others. And because of that, the team grew closer. But it even goes farther than that, because Aaron and one of his good friends, Brian, were helping to bring in an international flavor. We had 2 runners come from Kenya, and it was the 2 of them that helped them adapt to the United States and Mount St. Mary's campus. The following year, Tim Kitching arrived from Australia, and again, that adaptation was a difficult thing for them. But suddenly, the team was in the top 10 of the country and very well known all around. One little story. because it meant so much to me. And Aaron doesn't know this. The runners decided to spend Christmas break with the Kenyans in Kenya. And what a great experience for the whole men's team, cross-country team, to go to Kenya for 2 weeks. When they came back, Daniel Canoe and I sat out in that hallway after practice one day, and Daniel cried because of that, of them choosing to give up 2 weeks and spend time in their home as they were spending time here in the United States. You heard he was a scholar athlete as well. He went on to the University of Michigan State and has given his life as a social worker in Boston. That is Aaron Price, and we congratulate him today. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I have a little cold, so excuse me. I'm going to drink some water while I do this. But this is a tremendous honor. I'm so very grateful to be standing up here and talking to you today. And like some of the other folks mentioned, getting that call was really amazing. I had no idea. I was really shocked and surprised and honored just to be even considered to be a Hall of Fame candidate. So Jeff told part of the story that I was going to tell you, actually, which was about this amazing team that I happened to be a part of during those 4 years. It's part of Mount history that probably not that many people know about. You may know, some of you may know that there have been some great runners at Mount St. Mary's over the years. Peter Rono is a well-known name because he did something exceptional, which was to win the Olympic gold medal while he was a sophomore at Mount St. Mary's. He was in his sophomore year, went away for the summer, won the Olympics, came back and went back to class. So we have people like that in our history here at Mount St. Mary's. And what Jeff said was exactly what was happening at that time was there had been great individuals, but there had not been teams here at Mount St. Mary's that competed even on the NEC level in a strong way. So I happened to have the good fortune of coming at a time when Mike Merritt, the coach, and Jeff were working hard to bring a real strong crew of runners here, both sprinters and distance athletes and field athletes, to form the nucleus of this team here at Mount St. Mary's. And when I came in, there were 6 or 7 other freshman guys coming in running with me. Some of them were, one of them was a state champion in Pennsylvania. Another one had been a teammate of his. They had won the team state championship in cross country. And several other guys who were also very strong runners in their own right. So I immediately had this team to compete with. There was also a runner from Kenya here when I got here, and his name was Bernard Kitur, if anyone's ever heard of him. But he was an exceptional guy. He was an incredible athlete, and we looked up to him, you know, the way that a young decathlete would look up to Ashton Eaton, as we know as coaches here. He was that kind of guy. We looked up to him, and you know, coming from a small school in Maryland, the only closest I ever got to seeing a Kenyan runner in person, was a Runner's World magazine, flipping the pages. And so I remember showing up my first workout. Jeff had us go to, was it Michaud State Forest? Okay, so that's what I thought. So my dad lives up there now, so I got a little connection there. But he took us up there to do this run called the Rattlesnake. And it was 10 miles long, it was 5 miles out and back, and there were these long grinding hills through it. My memory was we go up and down, then you climb all the way up to the 5 mile point, turn around and come back. So we set up, we got there, we got in our little beige Mount van, which you guys probably rode in also, and we headed up to the mountains there in Pennsylvania to do this run. We got out of the van and we're sort of standing around, and we're all kind of just whispering and pointing at Bernard, because he was just kind of like a legend to us, right? So we start off running, and pace kind of starts out slow, which is, if anybody knows, that's how Kenyan runners start. They start so slow that most people in this room could keep up with them. But by the end, they're sprinting all out. So we're going, this isn't so bad. About a mile or so in, the pace starts to pick up. It gets faster and faster. About halfway through, we're all kind of looking around at each other and thinking, are we going to make it back? I don't know if we're going to have to walk back from out here in the mountains. So Bernard's pushing the pace, and we're running behind him, and we're probably a few miles out. We're almost at our race pace at this point. And I was just desperately trying to hang on, and I clipped his heels once, and he kind of turned back and looked, and And then minute later, I think somebody else clipped his heels, and he turned around and he said, in a very calm, very patient voice, he said, "Pace too slow?" And he put in a little surge just to let us know that he had a little more in him. So we held on, we made it back. But that was my first workout, and that was Jeff who took us up there and exposed us to those kind of workouts. And it was that kind of work that helped me to develop as a runner and helped my teammates to develop too. And we had a very patient, gentle approach to training that worked us hard, but realized that we had to also study, we also had to have social lives, we had to have families and friends and all those other things. There was a very balanced approach here at Mount St. Mary's, I think that some athletes don't get. And so I'm very appreciative of Jeff and Mike for what they gave us as coaches. And they taught us to work hard, but also to keep our lives balanced, which I think was a very important message. So when I stepped onto campus here, I knew that I really had 4 years to make the most of what I could do as an athlete and as a student. And Jeff used to print out the workouts for the month, and he'd give us this handout. And I remember one time on it said, so we got up in the morning. We get up and do runs in the morning. So early, we'd have 8 o'clock classes. We get up early, do a run before classes. We go to classes in the afternoon. We'd train in the afternoon too. And on it said, you can take a day off from the morning runs if your legs are tired. Not if you're tired, not if you're sleepy, not if you don't feel like getting up, but if your legs were tired. And that always stuck in my mind. And I told myself, if I can get up, I'm going to get up and train. I'm going to do the most I can this day to get better at this, because I have this one opportunity. So this team formed, and as Jeff mentioned, there were a couple of guys from Kenya. There was Tim, who came from Australia, and Brian Rosenberg, who's a local guy like me. I'm from just down the road. I went to high school just outside of Frederick, and we all pulled together and supported each other and really bonded together as we did all this training, day in and day out, workouts and races and everything. And we went from, I don't know, Jeff, probably near the bottom of the NEC the year before we came, to winning the conference my second year, and then continue on and doing that a few more times. And it was really because we had this team that was really close-knit and worked hard together and supported each other, which really was like a formative experience in my life, to be a part of a group like that. To have these friends and these teammates who I could connect with day in and day out, and who supported me and I supported them. But I also had other people who supported me, and I want to give thanks to them, especially the people who are here today, my parents, John and Ray Price, and Lucy and Roger Blanchard, my sister Danielle, and my wife Sarah, and my daughters Natalie and Chloe are here to be part of this today, which is awesome. I never thought that I'd be seeing this day come, so very thankful to them. They were there all through my growing up years. Whatever sport I played, they were there, just like some of the other folks have said, that their parents were there. My mom, my dad, my family was there to support me no matter what sports I was doing, if it was baseball or football. And then when I got into track, they were there for every race. And my dad would be out here cheering, at the cross-country course out here behind Mount St. Mary's. And they were always there for me from the get-go. And I'm still running, and my family's still out there cheering for me. I did cross-country this fall. I'm 42. I'm still out there running cross-country and track. It's been a lifelong thing now. I ran my first race when I was 10 years old. My dad took me out and we did a fun run, 1 mile road race in 1987. How many years ago was that? 32 years, my first race. And it's something I've been keeping up my whole life, and I hope to keep it up even longer. So the 4 years here was just a piece of my time as a runner. But it was one of the most important 4 years of my life, and really set me on a course, gave me some great opportunities and experiences to go to Kenya. And I really appreciate the story that Jeff told, because I wouldn't have known that meant so much to those guys that we were there with them in Kenya. It meant a lot to us because Peter Rono, Peter Rono was he was the Olympic champ. He came back to coach us and help us out the last year. We had Michael, we had Jeff, we had a strong group of coaches. Peter came back to get his MBA, and he helped out a little bit with the team, so we got to know him. He invited us to stay with him in Kenya, so about 5 of us, this was actually right after I graduated, we went to Kenya over Christmas, and we stayed with Peter in his village in Eldoret, Kenya. Kapsabet, which is outside Eldoret. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and again, something that happened only because I was here at Mount St. Mary's. So I'm deeply grateful for all the people who have been there for me and have helped me along in this journey, and for the role that Mount St. Mary's has played in becoming the person I am today. So thank you.